Tennis is special because it's a wonderful spectator sport. It's beautiful to watch. It's a game for all walks of life. It's a shared experience. It's entertainment. And I am 94 years old and I have loved playing all my life.
Wimbledon title, ruthlessly efficient for this second week, has put out Thomas Burditch.
It is played everywhere in the world, in parks, in playgrounds, in clubs and stadiums. It is played on clay, on cement, on grass, by small boys and girls, by men and women of all ages, raw amateurs, and millionaire professionals. It is a game that demands speed, a game with no clock. Tennis is chess. Tennis is war. It follows the seasons, indoors and out, and it is played all year long. It is a game that has been played since the 12th century. Here in Newport, Rhode Island, a summer home of some of the most famous families in American history, the Vanderbilts, the Astors, and the place where President John F. Kennedy married Jacqueline Bouvier in 1953, sits the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Since 1881, when American tournament tennis began on the grass courts of the Newport Casino, a national historic monument that was designed by Stanford White himself, the world's best players have competed in Newport. It's the cradle of American tennis. The 1930s was a time of depression, the Great Depression. In 1931, the Star-Spangled Banner became our national anthem, and the curtain came down on the Tilden era. After winning Wimbledon 3 times and the U.S. National Championships 7 times, Big Bill Tilden wrapped up his amateur career and announced that he was turning professional. Daily life in the 1930s was hard and stressful. Unemployment soared, and in 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt created the Civilian Conservation Corps for unemployed young men. But on court, the greats of the 1930s began to emerge. American champions Ellsworth Vines, Helen Wills Moody, Britain's Fred Perry, winning 3 straight Wimbledon titles. Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber, began his legendary run as heavyweight champion of the world. On June 22, 1938, Joe infuriated Hitler by knocking out the German Max Schmeling. Soon Don Budge would emerge as the new American tennis star, beginning a fabulous career that would see him become the first man to achieve the Grand Slam by winning all 4 major titles in 1 year, 1938. And that was the same year the famous American woman pilot Amelia Earhart disappeared on a flight around the world. In 1939, Clark Gable, the king of Hollywood, starred in Gone with the Wind, and The Wizard of Oz made its debut. By then, Fred Perry, in partnership with Ellsworth Vines, had traveled his own yellow brick road by taking over the Beverly Hills Tennis Club. And Charlie Chaplin, the creative genius of his age, left his bowler hat courtside and played a very serious game of tennis. In 1939, just weeks before Hitler unleashed World War II by invading Poland, Alice Marble enjoyed one of the most successful seasons for a woman player by winning Wimbledon and the U.S. Championships, a feat equaled by a wildly talented little guy called Bobby Riggs, who bet on himself to win all 3 titles at Wimbledon, singles, doubles, and mixed, and cleaned up. Imagine Wimbledon and the U.S. Open being played this summer without Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, or Andy Roddick. Until 1968, when Wimbledon opened its doors to amateurs and professionals alike, conservative officials who ran the amateur game had denied entry to their championships to the likes of Pancho Gonzalez and Pancho Segura, Big Pancho and Little Pancho.
Pancho Segura, the colorful pigeon.
Segura, born with rickets to a poor family in Ecuador, defied medical probability by becoming one of the top professionals of the 50s, flitting about the court on his bandy legs, using his 2-handed shots against such great players as Lou Hode and the tour's promoter himself, Jack Kramer. Gonzalez, the lone wolf, who was Segura's friend and biggest rival, was perhaps the greatest tennis competitor of all time, although his fits of rage could frighten his fans as well as his fellow pros. Barnstorming at home and abroad, this small band of colorful and talented players kept pro tennis alive until the arrival of the Open era. Playing hundreds of one-night stands all over the world, these players were the founding fathers of the professional game that we know today. Today, the game has evolved into one of the most physically demanding sports in the world, requiring incredible strength, agility, flexibility, endurance, stamina, hand-eye coordination, the velocity of the serves, the speed to chase down attempted winners screaming over the net is greater than it has ever been before.
brilliant.
Thanks to Billie Jean King, who co-founded the women's circuit along with Gladys Heldman, a publisher, today's women's tennis stars are multimillionaires and revered throughout the world as iconic athletes, the most famous females in sport. Truly, tennis is a game for the whole world, for all ages, to play, to watch, to love.
We don't quit playing because we grow old. We grow old because we quit playing.